And we're going to keep our conversation going and transition right on into a fireside chat. I'm just going to check with the stage crew. Do we need to change? We're going to change the chairs. Okay, I'm going to introduce our next speaker while they do that. So, have any of you eaten at Mur here in France, in Paris? I might be saying that really terribly. Mur? Mur. Okay, you're going to have to say it when you come on stage so they understand what I'm saying. Okay, but we're going to be having Bertrand on stage, who is the dad of 4 girls and a very happy husband. He's also a serial entrepreneur, and for the last 25 years, he's been building companies related to our food system. So he is the co-founder and CEO of The Fork, and then he started lecactus.info, and then Mur, which is a fast casual chain here in Paris. And he's really been building these amazing farm-to-table restaurants that are competing with the likes of McDonald's and Burger Kings and other places where people go and choose to eat. So we're going to hear all about your entrepreneurial journey. I welcome you up onto the stage. Up.
Hello.
How you feeling?
Very good. Very happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you here. And I'd love to start just by how you got into food to begin with. How did you get into this sector?
The answer is pretty simple, is that every French person, I would say. We love meals, we love food. And when I finished school, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I decided to create the first company in a digital space. It was in '98, so a long time ago. And then very quickly, I had another opportunity to build another company with a friend of mine, and it was a company working with restaurants. So it was the first step. And then a few years after, I decided with the same friend to build The Fork, La Fourchette, for the French people. And because we had this good knowledge of restaurant, and we were thinking, okay, restaurant is a great industry. When you go to restaurant, it's always for a good time. But it was pretty hard to find a restaurant on the internet, and we decided to found The Fork to help people to find restaurants and to have good times. So that was basically it. You know, it was a digital crazy years.
And it was a big success.
Yes, after 15 years. So yes, we grew the company from 3 to 1,000 people, from 1 country to 20 countries, from 1 booking in November 2007 to more than 5 million bookings now per month.
And you sold that to TripAdvisor?
Yes, 10 years ago we sold it to TripAdvisor. Then I spent 5 years in the US, where I discovered also the food industry in the US.
Yeah,
that was a kind of shock for a French guy. And it helped me understand more the connection, indeed, between what I'm eating and agriculture, because in France and with my education it was pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. But in the US, I discovered that it was more and more disconnected.
So then you went on to starting Le Cactus and Mur. I want to get this part of the story too before we dive in and go deeper. How did that then transition into I want to do another company?
Yes, so first of all, I wanted to make something useful. You know, it's kind of, I was 45 years old, midlife crisis. And so I was thinking, okay, we have this big topic, which is climate change. And there are two, I believe consumer is at the center of it. Of course, companies, policies, as we said. But I was thinking, okay, if we can change consumer, we can change everything.
Yeah, you hear that? If you guys change, everything changes.
Yes, I mean, the companies, I've been building companies, we are depending on consumers. So basically, if consumers change, companies are changing. Mm. That's very basic. And of course, I love food, and I was thinking, okay, there are 2 topics that are very important. First of all, when I was speaking with people about climate change, about food, there were 2 topics very important. First of all is education. People don't really know, actually, still the connection between climate change and what they are doing. And the second one was solution. Okay, even if you know, for example, that you should eat less meat and more vegetables and seasonal and local, but that's very hard. That's very tough because today this is not how the system is built.
Yep.
So even if you want to, and it was, as a parent, of course, it's more powerful because you want to feed your kids the right way. Mm. And we have 4 girls with Eva. And I was thinking, okay, but it's not enough to tell people what to do. It's, as an entrepreneur, my kind of role, my duty is also to give them solutions. And this is so, Les Cactus is a company that help people understand the climate change and the relationship connection between their consumption and the climate change. On Mur, we will speak about it now.
There you go. That's how you say it. Do you know it now? Anybody know?
No, it's pretty small today. lescactus.info is a small newsletter, and we are working with companies also. So, but it's very small. So let's speak about Mur now. Mur is really okay. How can we reinvent the food system from the seed to the plate with what we believe makes sense? So what makes sense? It has to be delicious, of course, because we are French, so we want to eat. Eating is center in our life.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
Mine too.
yes,
100%.
many people, but in our culture, it's center. So it has to be delicious. Okay. It has to be healthy. You know, the numbers are very clear. We know that number one causes of health issues is what we eat. That's it. Whether we want it or not, that's pretty clear now. And then it has to rebuild the partnership with the nature. I believe, I love the partnership word because 100 years ago, there was a partnership between nature and humans. Mm-hmm. You know, we were taking what nature were giving us, kind of trying to adapt it a little bit, but that was it. But with technology, with all what we've been building, amazing things over the last century, now we are really dominating the nature. And so it's not anymore a partnership, it's a domination. And we are saying, okay, but the nature, and the more you work with it, the more you discover the beauty of it. You know, how innovative it is, how generous it is. So rather than saying, okay, we have to work against the nature, we are thinking with Mur, how can we rebuild the system working with the nature? And this is what we are doing now.
Absolutely. So let's break down how Mur works as a restaurant. Because you don't just have the restaurant, you have 2 farms. You're doing almost everything from the farm to the fork and serving it at a competitive price point. How?
Yes, so the Mur journey is that basically every week, so we have 2 farms nearby Paris. We have 5 restaurants in Paris now. And every week, based on what we can harvest, we will build a menu for the week in the restaurant. And then twice a week, the Mur team at the farm will harvest. Then we'll deliver the restaurant, and then we will cook the vegetables. And every lunch, we will serve more than 1,000 people every lunch with the vegetables from our farms. Yeah. So this is very simple, very basic. And this is it. We change today the way the food system works. Is that I want something, so I'm asking the food system to deliver it to me. Okay, I want salmon, I want avocado, I want whatever, and I don't care where it comes from, how it's built. I want it, so let's give it to me. What we do is, okay, what is growing now near me? Okay. And how can I make it very tasty, delicious, so that I want to eat it? Because I believe that it's very important, you know, in all this debate, we are consumers, we want to have good stuff, you know, convenient, tasty, whatever. So this is a kind of bet. So every week we are doing this harvesting, cooking, delivering the food. On the competitive part, the beauty is that when you harvest and cook fresh vegetables, they are much better. So the taste is, just by doing that, is much better. In terms of nutrition, they are much better also, because as we know, you know, when you harvest vegetables and then you eat it, it's much better than if you wait 5 days, 6 days before eating it. And so I would say that this is our bet with Mur, is that we can deliver very good food at very good price, and that consumer will come, and they are coming. The feedback are very good today.
How do you get to the very good price? Because a lot of people assume that organic, fresh food is the most expensive. That's the luxurious quality in our market today, and that you would go to the fast food chains in order to have something that's cheaper, that you can afford. And that's not the story that you're telling. So how is it competitive at that price point? And what is the price point?
Yes, so the price point you can eat at Mur for lunch between 10 and 14 euros. And that's a full meal. So there are two answers. The first one is that we are cooking mainly vegetables. So of course it's cheaper than animal proteins.
Yeah.
So it reduces our cost. And the second one is more linked to the restaurant industry, which I know very well with the fork, is that restaurant industry is a fixed cost industry. So whether you have 100 customers in the restaurant or 300, your costs are almost the same. So the kind of, what you have to optimize as the restaurant owners is really to have more traffic into your restaurants. And today, the mix between our pricing, quality of food, and of course also our kind of, the fact that it's very, very committed in terms of environment makes, the success of the restaurant. So we have a lot of customers coming, and so we basically, our fixed costs are very well splashed between the customers.
Totally. And for me, a telltale sign of good food is how I feel after the meal. Maybe you've eaten greasy food and you can almost feel it coming out of your pores, versus a good meal, you feel fresh, you feel energized, you walk out different. And even if you go to a fancy restaurant, they might not be using the best ingredients, and you can feel it in your body. The more sensitive you become, the more you start eating differently. And I know your customers have told you things like, this reminds me of my grandma's meal, or these are recipes that you just don't see that often anymore. Can you talk a little bit about that response?
Yes, I mean, so on your first point, this is a feedback we have very often from customers. And a lot of them are amazed by that, because they say, I only eat vegetables, but I'm not hungry at all at the end of the meal. Plus, during the afternoon, because we are a lunch place, I can work. I feel very well. So this is of course, nature is very good with us. Okay, we just have to play the partnership. So on your second point, yes, the taste of fresh, raw food is, I would say, universal. Okay, yeah. Maybe we have forgotten a little bit about it, but when we can feel it again very quickly, we can feel all souvenirs of our grandparents' meal, or because this is how our body has been built over thousands of years to eat raw, fresh materials. Mm-hmm. So the customer feedback is yes. They say, I mean, it's like my grandma a little bit better, but because your grandma or maybe mine or maybe, but they were just cooking fresh products. That's it.
Totally.
That's it.
And can you tell us about when you first experienced the magic of nature and the magic of a seed and what it can do?
Yes. So yes, with Mur, so I kind of became a farmer. So very young farmer for now. But and what amazed me, but this is also my business sense, is a kind of magic and productivity of the nature. For example, a seed of tomato is 1 gram. Okay, 1 gram. And every seed will give us 20 kilograms of tomatoes. Okay, so it means it's a 20,000 yield. And you plant the seed, sun, water, and at the end, that's 20 kilograms of tomatoes.
It's amazing.
Yes, that's amazing. I mean, that's just, when you see it, when you feel it, you say, okay, this is a solution. We spoke a lot about technologies and a lot of stuff. I come from the tech world, so I love it. But I believe there is a path. It's just a partnership, rebuilding the relationship with the nature, and just using the nature, what the nature gives us.
Excuse me. Big bit.
Okay. Yes. So the feedback, yes, the feedback we have also from our customers is that we are a connection for them with the nature. You know, in Paris, the nature is very, very rare. We don't have many parks. It's very urban. And when they go to Mur, they told us, it's kind of, because they discover new vegetables, because they see the vegetables, because they can feel it, they can smell it, they are in kind of closer to nature just coming to our restaurant.
Totally. And I know there's this big perspective too of your background and experience in building consumer brands. What's the secret to success in that and all that you've been doing?
So that's very tough to build a consumer brands. Much easier to build a B2B brand. I would say my experience with the fork. First of all, of course, you have to create real value for customers. Okay, it's an advice. You know, it's easy advice, but very often you think about marketing, you think about a lot of stuff. But at the end, if you have a good product, people will buy it. If you don't have a good product, and this is what we call product market fit in the digital world. Okay, is my product right for my market? And for the fork, for example, it took us 3 years to go to the right product market fit. And the growth was very slow, and then the growth started to jump. The second one I'm a big believer in is conviction. Okay, what is your brand built on? What is your mission? You know, is your brand built to make money and because you see a business opportunity, etc.? It can work, but I believe the best brand and the bigger one, and even some of them that are now seems very business oriented, came from people passionate about their topics and that really build something based on deep conviction. And this is what I love with Mur, is that we have amazing conviction, you know. And with my we are 2 founders, and we are super aligned. Okay, we are very happy to build a great business because this is the way we believe today you can do great things in the world. But this is not the end game, and we will not stop doing what we believe in, even if it would bring us more growth, more profitability, more fame, because this is not how we envision our business today.
To that point, do you imagine expanding? You're having 5 restaurants now. Do you see more, or do you feel this is the right size, this is where we're going to stay, if depending on that alignment of the future?
No, that's a very good question. The more I'm working on Mur, the more I believe that part of the issue is size. You know, the big company, whatever you say, whatever you think, whatever you want, you start to build machine, and that, you know, kind of, and this is what I saw with the fork, to be honest. 50 people, 100 people, that's okay. 1,000 people, it's kind of something that is not anymore what you want because you cannot control it anymore as you want. So what we are trying to build with Mur, so this is the first, we are thinking ecosystem, and we are thinking one ecosystem should be one farm, one kitchen, and maybe 5 restaurants, what we have today, the first one. And this ecosystem should be very autonomous, okay? And it should not need any other part of the company almost to work. And then we say, okay, we can build one ecosystem, then we will build another one, then another one, then another one. Of course, there will be links between those ecosystems. We don't know exactly yet if that's one company, a co-op. You know, we don't exactly know, but this is how we envision, indeed, not to build one big machine, but to keep the nature, but also the human. I really believe that you are much happier, when you know why you work, what you work on, or when you can see the result on what you work on. The bigger the company is, the less you lose that connection. So because of course, Mur is more than, as I say, a business. We also want to make sure that people working for Mur become better people professionally and personally.
Well, if anyone's looking for a place to get lunch tomorrow or dinner tonight, I think you have your place right here. Is there any closing words you want to say as we go out now?
Yeah, so this is the power of consumers, so the power of all of us. I would repeat that, and also the connection. I really believe we have been losing, it's exactly what Christophe was saying. We have been losing the connection. And when you lose the connection, then the other part, so nature, becomes something you don't understand, you don't value. Yeah. Even if you value it intellectually, you don't value it emotionally. And rebuilding connection with the nature, whether by going in it, growing food, vegetables, there are many ways to do it, but really, in my opinion, will help the world make that climate crisis or biodiversity crisis or water crisis, whatever crisis we are speaking in, something that is not anymore a kind of, okay, this is something we have to solve, but we would prefer to business as usual, but something we are happy to solve together.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for attending this session and for all that we've heard today around how we can reconnect with nature as well as use technology and our plate to change the world. Thank you.